What happens when the perfect player becomes available? But the price tag is so astronomical that even thinking about it feels irresponsible. When does ambition cross the line into recklessness? Welcome back, folks. It's Friday, February 7th, 2026, and the trade market is trying to tempt us with big fish, but they're charging caviar dipped in gold prices. The name of the moment is Robert Thomas, the #1 center for the St. Louis Blues. Nick Kypreos from Sportsnet dropped the information. The price of prime away is the equivalent of 3 top 15 draft picks. That's right, 3 elite assets. The question Karine Haynes raises today is, can the Montreal Canadiens afford it? The answer is yes. We have a full vault. But the real question is, should the Montreal Canadiens pay it? The answer, my friends, is probably resounding no. In this video, we're going to dissect this rumor. We're going to look at the theoretical package we'd have to send, involving names like David Reinbacher and Michael Hage, which hurts just to think about, and why bringing in Robert Thomas might be redundant on a team that already has Nick Suzuki. Will Kent Hughes fall for the temptation? Or will he hang up the phone on Doug Armstrong? Is Robert Thomas a star? Absolutely. He's 26 years old. He's had an 86-point season. He's one of the best passers in the league. Having a center lineup with Suzuki and Thomas would be an absurd luxury, but he's not perfect. The text reminds us, he's only played a full 82-game season once in 8 years of his career. He has an injury history, and his style is very similar to Suzuki's. Playmaker, cerebral, not a natural goal scorer. Do you want to spend all your assets to have a copy of your captain on the second line? That's the fundamental question here. Yes, Thomas is elite, but is he different enough from Suzuki to justify the massive price tag? Think about roster construction. You want complementary pieces. If Suzuki is your elite playmaking center, maybe what you need on the second line is a different type of player. Maybe you need a power forward. Maybe you need a pure goal scorer. Maybe you need someone with a different skill set. Thomas gives you more what you already have. That's valuable, sure. But is it 3 top 15 picks valuable? Doug Armstrong isn't messing around. 3 top 15 picks. For the Habs, that would mean packaging David Reinbacher, our 5th overall pick, our future on defense. Michael Hage, who the text says was the top scorer at the World Juniors and has skyrocketed in value. And another first-round pick or a prospect like Alexander Zborowski. That's clearing out the cupboard. That's handing over the future of the defense and secondary offense for a single player, no matter how good he is. Let me put this in perspective. David Reinbacher is supposed to be the cornerstone of Montreal's defense for the next 15 years. He's the right-handed defenseman the organization has been searching for. Trading him for a center when you already have an elite center in Suzuki feels like robbing Peter to pay Paul. Michael Hage is the future second-line center. He's the homegrown talent who's supposed to develop alongside the core. Trading him for Robert Thomas is essentially saying, we don't believe Hage will ever be as good as Thomas. That might be true, but it's a massive bet to make. And here's an important internal detail. The article mentions, Oliver Kapanen has been doing very well in the second center role this season. If young Kapanen is already holding down the second-line center spot in this 2026 timeline, the urgency to bring in an $8 million star diminishes. Why pay Ferrari prices if your current car is running well and you're still building a garage? Why mortgage the future when the present is developing nicely on its own? This is the beauty of patient roster construction. You don't force moves just because a star becomes available. You evaluate whether that star actually fills a need, whether price makes sense, and whether the timing is right. Right now, for Montreal, The answer to all three questions is probably no. Kareem Haynes includes perfectly. I don't doubt that Hughes will negotiate, but I don't think he'd trade Kirby Dach, Caden Gull, and David Reinbacher for Thomas. St. Louis doesn't want our broken players. Dach and Gull have injury histories. They want our shiny new toys, Reinbacher and Hage. And Hughes didn't build this prospect stockpile to burn it all on a single lateral move. This is where discipline separates good general managers from great ones. The temptation is real. Robert Thomas is a phenomenal player. Having him alongside Suzuki would create incredible center depth, but the cost is prohibitive. Hughes has asked himself, does this trade make us a Stanley Cup contender right now? Does it push us over the top? Or does it just make us slightly better while sacrificing the long-term ceiling of the organization? I think the answer is the latter. Thomas makes Montreal better in 2026 and 2027. But trading away Reinbacher and Hage makes Montreal worse in 2028, 2029, and beyond. You're trading sustained excellence for immediate improvement. That's not a good trade-off for a team that's still building. Here's the bottom line. Habs fans, Robert Thomas is a dream acquisition, but the price is wrong. Unless St. Louis lowers the asking price to one good prospect and a pick, forget it. We're going to continue betting on internal development. Hage, Demidov, Reinbacher. The shortcut costs too much. The patient path is the right path. Kent Hughes has built something special here. He's accumulated assets, drafted well, and developed a clear vision for the future. Blowing it all up for one player, no matter how good, would be a betrayal of that vision. What do you think, folks? Would you trade David Reinbacher, Michael Hage, and a first-round pick for Robert Thomas? Is Thomas worth 3 top 15 assets? Or is Doug Armstrong asking for too much? Should Kent Hughes even be having this conversation? Or should he hang up the phone immediately? How important is it to protect the prospect pool versus going all in on a proven star? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and smash that like button, because this is the kind of decision that defines a general manager's legacy. And we're going to be watching closely to see if Kent Hughes has the discipline to say no to temptation.